Crazy times.
Good evening and welcome to Beyond the Front Page, produced for the spring 2022 semester here at KU Community College. This is a show that's broadcast on ARMA, the Regional Media Access, ARMA, for those of you who are wondering how I pronounce it, Spectrum, Verizon, Fios, as well as the college's radio station 89.1. I'm your host, Guy Cosentino. It is spring, and thus many thoughts drift to baseball. With the major leagues setting up their season for 2022 last week, and spring training, I think, starting last week with some games this weekend, we thought this would be a good time to talk about baseball in Auburn, and specifically at Falcon Park, with the new Auburn Doubledays that are returning for their second season in June. We are delighted to have one of the Doubledays owners, Don Lewis, back in the studio. He was gracious enough to be here last year to talk about what was going on and their agenda for their season, but we're going to talk about the upcoming season and what went on last year. So welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
So it's great to have you here. And so this is not the New York Penn Doubledays, so we should always start off with that. So I don't mean to get road on that.
No.
This is part of something called the Perfect Game League. What is that?
Yep. So more or less, it's 13 teams made up, and a lot of the teams are old NYP League teams that people are used to hearing. This year, Jamestown came in, Elmira's in, Batavia came over this year with us. So it has a lot to do with that. A lot of the teams, I'd say 85-90% of them, were all old NYP League teams.
So Jamestown, Batavia, what did they do with their facilities last year? They just stay empty because there was no New York?
Nope. So a lot of them came in
in
the league last year. And we kind of all followed each other that route to come into this league. It's been around for 13 years, so it has a very good name for itself. There's been actually over 350 kids that have been drafted through this league in the 13 years. So that's really special that those athletes come to play in your city, our city, and have a chance to play so hard that they get drafted.
And geographically, where do you go from? The New York Penn League was not really the New York Penn League by the time it ended. I think it includes Staten Island, Massachusetts. Did it go as far as Ohio?
They did. They were spread out
a little bit, all over the place.
Yeah, so we're all New York State. So the furthest north we go is probably Boonville. The furthest east we go is Saugerties, New York. Furthest south near Albany. Yeah. The furthest south we go is Elmira, and then the furthest west we go is either Jamestown or.
So you're really in the center of the.
We are. We're lucky because we have about a 3.5 hour radius around everybody.
So who are your players? Where do they come from?
Mm-hmm. So it's new almost every year. We have 2 or 3 returning players, I believe.
But they're college students for the most part.
They all need college eligibility, so there's no high school kids, nothing like that. We were excited in our last call and our last league meetings that now college seniors, that want to put the extra time in that may not be getting drafted their senior year, is now eligible to play in our league.
Why is that? Is that because of COVID or because
No, it's just a new rule that we made as a league. Okay. It's easier for some guys to be seen that way that might have either got overlooked or looking to continue playing the year after school.
So I know you had a story the other day about signing someone. I'm vegging on the name. I remember a green background on there. So how do you recruit these?
So a lot of the recruiting it's different with collegiate. So you need to make sure you have a great coach put in place so that when you call a Kentucky University or you call Radford or Manhattan, that coach knows that they're sending their player to our organization where they'll be used correctly.
So your coach last year has a pedigree in baseball, knowing his dad from many, many years ago, Bob Julian. But Coach Julian, will he be returning with you?
He will be returning, yep. So we're excited to have him. Last year we only had 2 months to get a team started. Usually
you had that much time.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like that. But usually your team's fully filled by September. October is the very latest that you have a full roster. So we had such a late start last year, and what Ben did was remarkable, to take us into the second round of the playoffs and then lose to Amsterdam that made it to the final, that lost in Game 3 against the Saugerties Stallions that were the champions last year. He did a phenomenal job.
So where are you and Ben Julian in signing up players?
Yeah, we're off to a great start. We're probably 90% full right now. So we're really excited where that is taking place. This league is a lot to do with pitchers. We play so many games in a short period of time that some kids that are coming from a Kentucky or Florida State some of them are sent on pitch counts. So that's where Ben's got to get, juggle that a little bit.
So I only know pitch counts because I have a 9-year-old.
Okay.
So for many people, they don't understand. There's a limit that organizations want pitchers not to pitch over, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So you have a kid for 2 months, June and July here, and then your plan's always to make the playoffs, which we will again this year, without a doubt. So that's really what's up to the coach to juggle that, where he's going to say, okay, this is a must-win game here, but we need to make sure we save him so many pitches when it goes into the playoffs.
Okay, so it's for a whole season.
It's for the whole season.
Okay. So last year when you were here in the studio, almost to the day, your biggest challenge was getting pitchers. Is that still the
It is.
challenge?
It's still hard. Yep. We had a great start to it, though. If we could add 2 or 3 more pitchers, I think we'd be super excited. Where we are right now, we're happy. We could play a season, but if we could add 2 or 3 more, I think we'd be ecstatic about it.
But you still have time because you have.
We do.
You're kicking off June 3rd.
Yep.
So do you pay these students?
We don't, because they're college kids, obviously. So a lot of them, you go to some of the bigger schools, they're there on a scholarship-free ride. So that's one thing that we haven't had a problem with ever. For me owning ball teams, is these kids come to the cities. We make sure they have a contract that is obligated to them, that they got to do X amount of community events, their community service. But also these kids we don't ever have problems with due to the fact that they're on a scholarship. If they ever got kicked off their baseball team, they'd have to go back to their college and tell their coach and explain what exactly happened.
So a student like that, do you provide housing for them?
Yep, so we provide housing. We try to get as many host families as we can.
So Auburn has been known, especially when they had the Doubledays and before that, whether it was the Astros or whatever. But lots of families opened up their houses pre-COVID to ball players to stay there. And so you're still looking for housing. So how much housing do you need?
So we rate around 30. We house about 30 guys. We can carry 35. A couple of them will commute back and forth, as one's local and one's from Carson Ashby's local. A couple are from Syracuse area. So we look for housing for about 30 guys.
Are they responsible for paying for that?
No, we take care of that.
So do you pay the host family?
Yep. So the host family will get $250 per kid per month to take them in. Those host families, all they're committed to do is supply a bed for the player to sleep.
So they're not doing transport, and
they're not doing none of that.
They're not feeding 21.
None of that. There's some people that'll feed them every meal, and we know those names because it comes back to the locker room pretty quick. And we'll get a kid from another school, and they already say, "Hey, we want to live with this person," because they know who.
So do you get a lot of repeats?
We don't. We'll get you'll get maybe 3 or 4 a year if you're lucky. It's a lot where the college coaches want the kids to go see different things or be part of something different, and try to keep fresh faces coming through the community.
And do many of whether it's your league or others, but let's talk about the Perfect Game League. Do they make the majors?
So the league's been around for 13 years, and we've had over 250 kids drafted throughout the league. So it's a very well-known league. Lots of scouts at the games a lot of the times. We're lucky. We have the best facility, hands down, in the Perfect Game League. I would put it up probably against any facility in collegiate baseball, the facility that we have to offer. So the more
You're talking about the new turf park at Falcon Park.
Yeah, at Falcon Park, the staff from Brian Rhodes on up, you couldn't ask for a better staff. You couldn't ask for better city council, better city manager. You couldn't ask for anything better there. The relationship's great.
So we'll have the city manager here in 2 weeks, and I know baseball is his favorite subject.
It is.
And we have.
It's good because not off the baseball part, but I know Jeff, Mr. Diger, is big in recreation, which is really nice. The ice arena that they got there is top notch, So I know he's big in that. I know they're looking to build a new skate park, and
that there will be a public discussion on that and plans. You slightly touched on it. You own more than one team.
Yes.
Or have an interest in more than one team.
Yes, correct.
What do you and your partner?
So we're in with Newark now, New York, with the Newark Pilots. We took that team over this year to help it keep going. The old owner of that got sick, and with the distance that we were there, it really helps our team for travel. And then last year I had another team in a different league called the Mansfield Destroyers. I sold that team this past year so that I could be in this market. This market's the one that I focus on. Bob, my business partner, really focuses on the Newark market. This market's such a great market.
So do you guys bet against each other?
Bet against each other?
For who's going to win?
Yeah, we bet to see who pays the bus bill. How's that?
Just a valuation, and not necessarily the Auburn Doubledays. What is the value of a financial value of a team? Let's say Newark or Batavia. I mean, you all know what they've been buying and selling for. What's the average price for a team?
You know what? It's really different. Like our facility here, and it has to do with your facility that you have to offer. Has to do with the lease that you have with the city. Obviously, you have to get pre-approval to sell that lease more or less.
So is it hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars?
No, I would say hundreds of thousands. I wish it was millions, but
okay.
No, it's...
So your season will start, as we said, on June 3rd, and it goes for about how long?
It'll go till 2 months.
So it ends on July 30th
is our last game.
Unless...
Which we will make the playoffs.
Good attitude. Because you made the playoffs last year.
We did. Yep.
How'd you do?
Good. We made it to the second round, like we said at the beginning. Lost to Amsterdam. Amsterdam's always done a great job with their organization, and we were really lucky. We stayed with them through the whole end, and then got to a little bit of pitching and had that downfall. But what a remarkable season for all of our players.
So in the past, when it was the Doubledays as being part of it, whether it was the Blue Jays or the Astros or whatever, Washington, you used to have a lot of fans who would travel from park to follow the teams. I know you only were up and running for 60 days last year.
Yep.
Do you see some of that?
We do. We see a lot, especially with the closer cities. Geneva, Newark. Some did go down to Elmira when we played them that single time. But this year with our booster club, we brought the booster club back last year. They're more active this year. Now that we have more time, you're going to see a lot more bus trips availability for the fans to go on. And I think as now the fans are through the first year, know what the Collegiate League is about, we'll see a lot more traveling because there was a lot more excitement.
So I want to talk about the upcoming season, but you had a pretty good inaugural season. So how was 2021?
I don't think we could have wrote a better script, obviously. Always out to win a championship. That's one thing that we fell short of. To find something else that we fell short of.
So when you get a championship, is it bragging rights or money, or does it help you with placement?
No, I think it helps with placement. Helps with bragging rights, obviously.
Do players get a ring?
They do.
They do.
Yep, we run this. So Bob and I, that's one thing about us. We run our organizations as professional as you can. Our players don't drive to a game just because it's 30 minutes away. We take a coach bus. Our players eat meals after every game that Bob and I provide to them. We would give a championship ring to the players if they won that. Our clubhouse over there, there's not another team, like I said, in our league that offers something like that. The field that we have to offer, we had our owners meeting here last fall, and some of the owners that didn't make it up for a game was just blown. You get the wow factor when they come in.
So how was your attendance last year?
Attendance was good. Our attendance could be better. I'll put that on my end where this year, you're going to see us out a lot more with baseball buddies. The school's coming to sing the national anthems.
What's a baseball buddy?
Baseball buddies is we go to the youth baseball games. We'll send some players over there.
So Little League.
Yep.
Pony League, those types.
Yep. So we'll send our players there. They get to meet the coach. They say to the coach, okay, we want to bring you guys to our game. And the baseball buddies go down in the dugout so that each player would have their own player. They'd run out on the field during the national anthem, give the high fives, and then they come off the field, enjoy a hot dog and a drink, and enjoy the game with their family.
And so you decided to do this league in the middle of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So how did COVID affect your attendance?
It's hard to say for here, I guess you could say, because it was our first year here. COVID did affect it, absolutely. We had a certain section for COVID where people that were uncomfortable with it still could go sit in that section. We did have people use that. Our numbers were up by about 150 people per game from previous numbers that we found. So we were happy with that. But I do think now that we're getting on the final stretch of COVID and back to it where we can put our boots on the ground and go visit the baseball buddies and everything, our numbers should be a lot better this year.
So will you require, because I know this was a stipulation last year and we had a whole different world last year.
Yep.
It seems to change every half year.
Absolutely.
Are you going to require masks, proof of vaccinations? Will you have a mask section. What's the plan this year?
So that's something where we'll sit down with Mr. Diger, the whole facility over at the park, and we'll all brainstorm at that park, just like we did last year. I mean, things are changing day by day or week by week. So
if you're at a SUNY school, you have to be vaccinated to go to school if you're in classrooms. Do you require vaccinations for your players?
As of right now, we have a conference call in a month, and that's where we're going to take that. We've talked about it, but the vote has not yet taken place.
How did you do on food sales?
Foods was good. Concessions was good. We made a lot more ballpark-friendly menu. We went back to the basic hot dogs.
So let's be honest. You were faster this year than in the past.
Yes, that was our plan.
So what did you do? Was it because you changed the menu that you were faster? I know you and your partner were often behind. I think I got to say hello to you a lot because you were. Were you processing orders or you were giving direction? I think you were processing.
Yeah, so more or less, it's that's one thing that we heard a big complaint about was the speed of the concessions. That people would have to miss an inning or two just to get their food. So, A, we went back to the basic ballpark food. B, we have a pretty good conveyor belt that we use, I guess I should say. I've been in it 10 years. System, yes. I've been in it 10 years, so we got a good system that works. You got kids at each station, and then they're running the food up. There should not be by the time you pay your money, you should not be waiting more than 10, 15 seconds.
And you have a nice Falcon Park hat there. One of the big things for any ballpark is merchandise. Mm-hmm. So how'd you do on that front?
Merchandise went well last year. We were extremely excited with that. We brought some different items in. Super excited what we have to offer this year for new merchandise. So
anything different?
There'll be lots of different things, lots of different designs. You'll see Abner designs in there this year and things like that.
So you still keep the Doubleday, and you do pay the city a cut for not the food, but the merchandise, correct, sales?
Nope, not the merch. So what we pay is we have a bottom line base for rent, and then any signage that we sell, whether it's scoreboard signage, ads, any signage that you see, we give the city a percentage of that at the end of the year also.
So let's talk about this coming.
Yep.
So as you're looking at about 45 days from now, 65 days from now.
65, yeah.
What's your biggest challenge right now?
Biggest challenge right now, boy, is locking up and finalizing the rest of the sponsors that we had. They've all been great, very receptive. We haven't lost one. We found some new actually already. So that is always...
So just determine for us, is a sponsor somebody who buys a sign or gives you underwriting money for programs or something else?
Anything like that. Sponsors, anything like that, even if it's a group that comes and wants to do a picnic in the picnic area this year. We're super excited about that. We've met with the city. They're actually going to build a permanent structure now on the third base side for picnics, so that'll look really nice.
It's always been a tent.
It's always been a tent, so we're going to get rid of that tent and build a permanent structure.
So I did want to, you talked about you've got a couple of slots still left. In the past, you have offered to have somebody players from the Spartans. Have you had anybody from the Spartans joining you yet?
We do. We got 2 kids joining us this year.
Oh, great.
From there. John Rizzo was our assistant coach last year, so he knows Ben Julian really well. So they work together, and he's comfortable with sending 2 of the players our way.
So your goal is to have a local connection to Cayuga. I know last year you offered, it was also very late in the season.
Yep.
But you see this as a constant where you'll see the Spartans.
Absolutely. That's what we want. Absolutely. That was an agreement we made with the city, and they're a good enough baseball team, to compete in this league. So absolutely.
Have you started planning for this year's home opener? What will we see on June 3rd?
You'll see lots of fun things. You'll see a band. You'll see fireworks. I know this area loves fireworks. There'll be a huge post-game fireworks show with that. We have a really special giveaway that night that we won't disclose yet. We'll wait to add the sponsor to that. But you'll see a lot of excitement. Like I said, bands.
It's not going to be a Jeff Duggar bobblehead, is it?
It's not.
Okay.
No. That's out of the budget.
We would like to see that here. I'll ask him about that. So you will see promotions. So one of the things that you do that's fun, and this seems to be a continuation of what the New York Penn League did when Auburn had a team, was you do try to involve, silly bat race, getting in and out of uniforms, all this stuff on the ground with what I would say 4 to 11-year-olds.
Absolutely.
Still the plan?
That's the plan, and there's even a better plan this year. And when I was talking to Ben, we were communicating a little bit, and we're going to have the players very involved during the games this year also. So the guys that aren't going to play or the guys that are sitting out from pitching, they're going to be extremely involved in dancing and having fun and in the crowd with interaction. So there's going to be a lot more of involvement with that this year. And Shane Truman, I know he's a well-known name there. He did a great job helping us get that off the ground.
Fun guy,
last
leadership Huga, a couple of other things.
Yep.
And very enthusiastic, to say the least.
And congratulations to him. They just had another baby, so I think he's stepping away from that a little bit to focus on it.
But he's still going to work with you on some stuff. So do you broadcast these games?
We do through YouTube, through a YouTube channel that the league makes it mandatory that we have that. So when our team goes on the road, they can always go to the visiting website, click it, and watch the game through there. So all of our games are televised or videos live streamed.
So they're videoed, or is it just play-by-plays?
Nope, video.
So you got cameras out there?
We do.
Oh, you do?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's talk money. How much does it cost to go to a game?
Yeah, so box seats are $10. That's going to come with waitress service this year. And then general admission's $8, minus $2 from each of those for senior, military, and then children tickets also.
And can you buy season tickets?
You can. Yep, you can call the front office to buy them. We're super close to launching a link on our website this year so that you can actually get on the website to purchase your tickets per game, or they'll be on sale for box seats also for season tickets.
So you can either buy box seats individually if they're available, or you can buy them for a season.
Correct.
So how many games are you playing?
So we have 46 games this year. So it'll be 23 home games. Then we mixed in 2 more exciting games to add. So we're right around 45 games or so.
So another thing that you did differently last year, I'm not saying previously it wasn't, but new owners, and you have a different interest in delivering a product than a municipality does.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the problems in the past was people sitting in other people's box seats. That did not seem to be a problem last year. Why not?
That went good last year. I think some of the security that we had in place or the tickets that we had in place were great. We're actually going to tune that up a little more this year and go another route as part of being a season ticket holder. An extra benefit is going to be that you have your seat on hold. You'll have your name plaque on the back of your seat. Any other box seat starting this year is going to be general admission. So when you walk in, you'll get your gold ticket. You sit in any box seat you want, unless the person's name's on it, which is our great season ticket holders that would have that seat permanently.
Oh, so you won't necessarily be in Section 101 seat.
Correct. So if you're a
D1,
season ticket holder,
D2.
if you're a season ticket holder and that's what you pick, you will be. If not, your seats are now going to become general admission.
So how many box seats do you usually have?
There's 534 total box seats, I believe it is.
Okay. And any idea how many box seats you sell for a season?
I don't have that on top of my head because we obviously do individual sales and then some of the corporate sales also are in there. So
are you at a point right now where when can people start buying tickets?
Tickets will be for single game tickets.
Yes.
Probably another month or so will be for that.
But if you want to buy box seats now?
If they want season tickets, right now season tickets. And then regular game tickets, game by game, will be on sale in about a month. And like I said, you'll be able to go on to auburndoubledays.com, all of our social media pages, and purchase the tickets that way.
I'll go back just a moment to the host family, because I know you're still looking for host families. How many host families are you looking for right now?
Well, I shouldn't say we're short because we always figure it out. But if we could find 8 more beds, I like to say. So just supply that bed, 8 more.
And how does somebody find out about this?
Just call our front office. Everything's on the website and social media. Call our front office or send me an email, and I'll definitely get right back to them.
So I don't know if you know this, but Auburn's a baseball town.
Absolutely.
To your delight, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
How are you doing anything with little leagues and pony leagues? And you mentioned the buddy system, but do you do something with the formalized leagues?
So I guess if I'm reading you correctly, we will be involved with the little leagues. We are bringing back double-day camps this year. There'll be a camp in June, a camp in July for different age groups.
So what's a camp?
That will be where they can sign up. Mom and Dad can drop them off at the ballpark before work, pick them up after work. We will offer them breakfast, lunch, dinner. They can stay for the game, and they'll be instructed by our players and coaches throughout the day with different procedures.
And how much does something like that cost?
We're going to start around $149,
Okay.
and that gives them a 2-day camp. They would receive their tickets for the games that night also. they'd be on the field during introductions, and then all day they would, get their classes and courses throughout the day.
So June we go. As you know, Jeff Parazola was just sitting in there, the superintendent of school. He does not want anybody leaving school to go to camp. So will you be doing this in June during the weekends?
Yes, or we'll do it late June to make sure that everybody's out. Yeah.
And what are you doing with schools?
So schools, our big thing that we're going to go after is probably K through 5. We'll go after to go on the field, sing the national anthem. They'll receive a free ticket. Mom and dad will get a discounted ticket. They'll go on the field, sing the national anthem. As the kids get older and we get into the older groups, we're going to invite the bands out so that they can play either during the national anthem or during the game, skip a couple songs of music and let the band play during the game, because this really is Auburn's team and the surrounding area's team.
And I heard that you're putting a new sound system into for sound effects.
For sound effects, yep, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so
we have some inside information on that here.
Yeah. So I think there'll be lots of new fun things. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of fan interactions, and that's going to be one of the major parts of it.
So if somebody wants to sponsor something, whether it's signage, I was down there, I think I mentioned to you, I was down at the Falcon Park last week to watch the Spartans beat Broome County two times
all right.
that day. I think that was their 4th win. You still have space available for signage, correct?
We do, yeah, absolutely. And there's always something that's available for everybody.
So the signage, this is going to sound weird.
Yeah.
The signage that's right there from now is from last year. New signage will go in May for the new team to go through the Spartan season of next year.
Correct. So that's a good thing. They're playing their soccer, softball, and baseball over there. So anybody that sponsors the Doubledays is also getting their signage and viewing for any of the Cuca College games that take place over there.
And that signage, a certain amount of that money goes to the city, but the rest you reinvest in your organization.
Yeah, so we'll reinvest that in our organization. Then the city and I sits down at the end of the year, and they get a percentage of the sales.
And finally, what can the public do to make the Doubledays, your players, the event, the 23 games a success?
Come out, grab a hot dog, have an ice cold beverage, and come cheer your home team on. It's a fun night out, and we want everybody to be part of it as it's their team.
We are delighted to have you, Mr. Lewis, back in the studio to give us an update. We hope you'll do it again next year.
Absolutely.
You have a 3-year contract?
Yeah, so we have a 3-year deal and 3-year option after that. So this is year 2, so now we'll start at some point looking forward.
You optimistic for renewal?
Absolutely.
All right. Our guest has been Don Lewis, one of the co-owners of the Auburn Doubledays. They expect to have a great summer this year at Falcon Park, and we encourage you to look at their second season and look at the opportunities that are down there. We'll be back on Tuesday with the Auburn Housing Authority's Executive Director, Stephanie Hutchinson, and we'll also have the Auburn YMCA's Camp Director, Melissa Kanga-Kartner, to talk about the Y Camp, which starts up in early July. Next Thursday on the 31st, Cuyahoga County Legislative Chairman David Gould will be here, as well as Dr. Adam Epler of the Owasco Lake Watershed Management Council. They'll both be our guests for 2 different shows. And as we mentioned, petitions can be picked up for the Auburn School Board starting this week. We'll be having our annual Auburn School District Forum on May 3rd, but our last show of the season is the first Tuesday of April, where City Manager Jeff Digert will be talking about his bobblehead, as well as Jeff Parazola and Lisa Green will be in to talk about the school district budget. If you have any questions or thoughts for us to ask our guests, please feel free to send them to cozguytho@aol.com or Inside Government, 141 Dunning Avenue, Auburn, New York, 13021. I'm Guy Cosentino for Cuyahoga Community College. We want to thank you for watching. We hope you have a good evening. Have a great tomorrow. If you have not gotten vaccinated, get vaccinated or get your booster or wear your mask and be safe.